going on, guys? Sam with Sam's Man Tree Service. Today I'm finally making this video. I've made it like 3 times, but with SD cards and having issues with uploading, and then I finally made a good video and I didn't like it. So here we are. We're comparing the Vermeer CTX 160, and we're going to show you all the flaws, all the pros of it, and then we're also going to tell you a little bit about the Ditch Witch 800 and compare it a little bit. But don't get me wrong, the main majority of this video is about the 160 and how Vermeer lies to their consumers. Yes, Vermeer is going to get a lot of hate on this video, but all the hate, I love equipment, I love the tree industry, I love the trades. I want to see them do better and build a better product and help their consumers and help the environment and help the market. So, I'm going to tell you what I like about this machine. I do like how much it lifts up. This is a heavy lifting machine. It lifts just under 4,000 pounds. We could pick up a 3,800 pound concrete block with forks on. Barely, yeah, it barely lifts 4,000 pounds, but for what it is, it's a pretty good lifting machine. The vertical lift is nice. So basically these arms, you don't lose any clearance when these arms go up. They actually go up and out a little bit, which I can demonstrate later. Something I do like as well with the machine is the price. I mean, you could pick one of these up for anywhere from $50,000 to $60,000. Not a bad price at all. You're getting a lot of machine for your money. A lot of machine for your money. That's something I think Vermeer did a good job on, a very good job on. We were loading gravel today, and this actually will outperform a Cat 259 in loading gravel. An older Cat 259 though, not a newer one. So we were loading gravel, and I thought it was easier and faster with this machine and this bucket. This machine can actually handle a little bit of a bigger bucket too. Coming to the back, well, actually the tracks, I like the track system. They have, I forgot what this is called, but it's not like the Ditch Witch roller system. These are a little bit easier to maintenance. The fuel tanks, you have 2 fuel tanks. I do like that. Also, when you load them, when they're full, you have a little bit more counterweight. Not by much. I mean, each one holds, I think, 10 gallons, so you have an extra 20 gallons. It's an extra 50 pounds of counterweight. Another thing I like, and I also don't like, these counterweights are in the back. What the counterweight in the back does is gives you the maximum amount of lift. The issue with the counterweight in the back is now you're unbalanced. This machine is very back heavy. Going up a curb or going up a ramp without an attachment to the trailer, it won't do it. You have to back it up. The pro to that, more lift, and I tell you what, this thing will climb a hill. This thing is very back heavy. You can hill climb anything. Very nice. I like it because when I've had to do some jobs through ditches, and this thing will crawl up a ditch, like literally a normal ditch from, it crawls up a ditch, I'll tell you that. Coming into this side of the machine, they do look out for you a little bit. They put a positive terminal here for the battery. Nice job, Vermeer. I think the tracks are the same length as a 800 tracks, which is nice. Here's another feature I do like, lifting this machine up with a crane. You pick the arms all the way up. Here's your tie-in point. Controls, the Vermeer controls are a little bit different. You have a single joystick system for driving. This is your open close for low flow. This is your high flow continuous. And yeah, 2 cup holders, which is nice too. Are you guys ready for the bad? The bad. Very, very bad. Bad Vermeer. This is like a 50 horsepower motor, but that 25 horsepower motor hydraulic system is way more powerful than this. What are you talking about, Sam? Well, when we first bought this machine, we bought a big TNA grapple for it, and the grapple kept dropping logs. So we were wondering, why is this machine dropping logs? We thought it was the grapple. So we put the grapple on the Ditch Witch. The Ditch Witch was no longer dropping logs. So we took the machine into Vermeer. We're like, hey, I have something wrong. Maybe my hydraulics aren't as powerful. They test them and say, no, your hydraulics are fine. Maximum operating pressures. Cool. Okay, so let me try this grapple again. Grapple's failing. I'm like, no, it can't be the grapple then. I put it on the Ditch Witch. Grapple doesn't fail. The grapple that we have for this is a 2.5 inch or 1.5 inch cylinder. That is a 1 inch cylinder, and that grapple, the 1 inch cylinder grapple on the Ditch Witch SK800, lifts more than the 1.5-inch cylinder grapple on the 3000 or on the CTX 160. After talk with the grapple manufacturer, the owner of TNA, we have geared it down to that Vermeers cannot sustain their max pressures. So the Vermeer loaders are not truly operating at the pressures advertised. And that's 100% true, because on the paper, the Vermeer has way more hydraulic power, way more breakout force, way more pressure, way more flow. But you know what? The Ditch Witch SK800 runs circles around this in literally everything, except for lifting capacity because of the size of the machine. This weighs like 4,800 pounds with the grapple on it, or 4,500 pounds. That weighs 3,800 pounds, 3,500 pounds. So you have 1,000 pounds more machine, you're going to be able to lift that extra 1,000 pounds. So basically, Vermeer is just straight up bullshitting and lying about their product. And I believe what they're doing is probably measuring the components at the pump versus the actual auxiliary hookups. That skid steer, the SK800, is a 25 horse motor, and it will run a Rockhound way better. It will run an auger way better. It will run everything better than this machine. And it gets me mad because I bought this machine to lift bigger logs, to move more material. And at the end of the day, it can lift a little bit of a bigger log, but you'll pick a log up and the grapple just opens. The other thing I don't like, so Vermeer is a tree equipment service company. They make equipment for tree guys. Why is reverse slowed down? Reverse is the slowest movement on this machine. You're a tree service equipment provider, and all of our work is done in reverse. We're dragging branches out of backyards. We're dragging logs out of backyards. I am running my machine in reverse probably 80% of the time. Why is it the slowest thing? Oh, it's for safety. Okay, it's not really safe when you can't manipulate branches or logs with the slow hydraulics. All the hydraulics on this machine are very slow. The arms up and down, super slow. The tilt, super slow. Open and close on the grapple, super slow. Compared to the Ditch Witch, that Ditch Witch, like I said, runs circles around this thing. And just straight up hydraulic power, the Ditch Witch has it. I think the only time I think this has a little bit more power is with the drives, because you can drag a bigger log than the Ditch Witch. Absolutely. But I think most of that is the gearing and the drives. Maybe the high operating pressure that they advertise, but that's the only time I've ever noticed this thing can actually do anything more than the Ditch Witch. So yeah, I mean, they straight up just lie about it. I mean, sometimes this machine even has a hard time just turning. Like, I mean, even if you're going forward and diagonal, it has a hard time even turning. I'm not talking just cranking it to the side. And I think you could feel the hydraulics loading up and unloading when you're on concrete, because it won't turn good. My other issue is the grease fittings. So Vermeer is big on, the grease fittings, you'll never have to replace your bushing as long as you can grease it every day. Well, I grease all my stuff every day. I can't grease this machine because fittings are in fucked up spots that you can't get to. You need a whole mechanic set of grease fittings and couplers and 90s and 45s and swivel fittings and lock fittings to grease this fucking thing. Excuse my language, but it doesn't make sense. If I made equipment, actually, I technically do make equipment. I make equipment attachments. I try to make everything as easy as possible for the end user. Yeah, the pins and bushings will never fail if you could get grease to them. But you can't. So, well, what would they do? Well, the Ditch Witch uses like carbide or carbon or whatever fittings they use. There's no grease fittings on this machine. And I do not have any slot in my arms. They're still tight. This machine has 1,500 hours. All my arms are tight. There's no pin slop. It works. Vermeer needs to incorporate that. The only grease fitting on the machine is for the tracks to tighten them up. Speaking of pins, come check this out. They put these stupid keepers in for these pins. They rip out all the time. I ended up having to weld them. And the grease fitting gets clogged with sawdust and dirt and crap. So you can't even grease that. So now my pins are already making noise because it only has 300 hours on it. Versus what Ditch Witch does. They got this big bolt. Never ever have I ever had an issue with this bolt. Don't have to worry about grease. Don't have to worry about catching the grapple. Fun fact, if you bend one of these keepers, they're made out of a really cheap steel. You bend one of these keepers, your pin's going to fall out. And guess what it's going to do? It's going to bend your arms. It's going to bend your plate. It's going to fuck your hole up. It's no good. Those keepers are $25 a piece, so it's like $50 to replace them. We've went through 2 sets through Vermeer already. I ended up just welding them and saying screw it because I'm not spending $50 every week because we run dangle grapples. Dangle grapples like this move a lot. They bang up against the plate all day long. So, what else do I like? Oh, come here. Check this radiator out. This radiator. It's already got leaves in it. It's getting kind of dark. We're running a little bit late. Here, let's see these leaves. It's got leaves in it. We clean our machines once a week. So, this thing has leaves in it already. Look at that. So, what that's going to do is cause hot spots. I don't know why. Like I said, we're in the tree industry. Look at this. Why can I get leaves and sticks and dirt and crap in here? Come look at this Ditch Witch. I've never had a problem with this. This is the bulletproof system right here. So, overall, I'm not going to say... So, yeah, overall, that's what Vermeer has... Oh, one more thing. These